Let's talk about an AI that doesn't just talk back to you, but actually acts. Imagine an assistant on your computer that has the power to write its own code, manage your files, and browse the web all by itself. Well, that's the world of AI agents. And honestly, it is a complete game changer. But with great power comes a great risk, which is exactly why NVIDIA just dropped NemoClaw, a new toolkit designed to tame these incredibly powerful new assistants.
So we're all getting pretty comfortable with AIs that can chat, right? But what happens when they can actually do things? I mean, really do things. Write code, move your files around, surf the web, all without you holding its hand every single step of the way. That is the massive leap we are taking right now into the world of AI agents. You see, a chatbot is basically a reactive tool. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. It's a tool that you use. But an AI agent, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It's a proactive partner that works for you. It doesn't just provide info, it executes actual tasks. This is a really fundamental shift. We're going from a simple tool to a genuinely autonomous assistant. But, of course, giving an AI that much freedom, well, that incredible power brings an equally incredible risk. So you have to ask, what happens when these assistants are just let loose without any kind of constraints? Okay, so here's the real crux of the issue. For an AI agent to be useful at all, it needs access. Access to your files, access to the internet, access to all your other apps. But just handing over that kind of raw, unfiltered power to a complex and, let's be honest, unpredictable AI is a massive, massive security risk. It's the ultimate double-edged sword. You've got this amazing potential on one side and the very real risk of chaos on the other. And this is the exact problem NVIDIA is trying to solve with its new open source project. They've built a secure sandbox specifically designed to contain these agents. And it's called NemoClaw. So what in the world is NemoClaw? Well, officially, it's a reference stack, which is really just a fancy way of saying it's a complete toolkit for developers. Its entire reason for existing is to run AI assistants safely. And the real key to all that safety is a secure environment that's powered by another piece of NVIDIA tech called OpenShell. I love this analogy. It's just perfect. Imagine you hire a brilliant, but maybe kind of eccentric genius. You're not going to give them the keys to the entire building on day one, right? No way. You'd give them a secure workshop, a place with all the tools they need to be productive, but where they can't accidentally wander off and, break something important. NemoClaw is that secure workshop for an AI agent. So that secure workshop idea is great, but how is it actually built? What are the core pieces that come together to create this safe little bubble for the AI? Let's break it down. The architecture here is actually really clever, and it's broken down into 4 main parts. Think of it like you're building a super secure house. The plugin, that's your toolbox. The blueprint is, well, the architect's plan. It lays out all the rules in the structure. The sandbox is the house itself. That's the secure, isolated container where the AI actually lives. An inference, that's like the secure phone line out of the house. It manages how the AI is allowed to think by routing all its requests through a controlled gateway. Now let's zoom in on that sandbox, because it's really the heart of this whole system. It's an isolated container, which means it is totally walled off from the rest of your computer. And you see those phrases, policy-enforced egress and file system access? In plain English, that just means it has super strict, predefined rules about what information is allowed to leave the sandbox and which files the agent is even allowed to look at. Okay, so we know the AI is in a secure cage, but what are the bars of that cage actually made of? Let's take a look at the specific layers of protection that NemoClaw uses to keep everything locked down tight. This multi-layered defense is really what makes NemoClaw so tough. The network layer, that's your firewall. The file system layer keeps the AI from snooping around in your personal stuff. The process layer stops it from trying to take over your whole system by blocking dangerous commands. And that inference layer, it's like a chaperone for the AI's brain, controlling which AI models it's even allowed to talk to. And here's a really cool part. Notice how some of these rules can be updated at runtime? That means you can change things like network access on the fly without shutting everything down and starting over. Super flexible. So to put it as simply as possible, if the AI agent gets a bright idea and tries to visit some random website, or maybe starts trying to read your private documents, OpenShell just steps in and says, nope, and blocks the request. It's a simple, effective, and absolutely essential guardrail. Okay, this all sounds really powerful in theory, right? But the real test is how easy is it for a developer to actually get up and running? So let's walk through the setup and see just how quickly you can put one of these agents to work. First things first, the hardware. And, the minimum requirements here are actually pretty reasonable for any modern computer. We're talking 4 virtual CPUs and 8 gigs of RAM. This isn't something that needs a massive server farm. A decent developer laptop can easily hit these specs and get going. And on the software side, it's also a pretty standard list for modern developers. It runs on Linux, and it just needs common tools like Node.js and a container runtime like Docker. Again, this isn't some exotic, hard-to-find setup. It's all designed to make it as easy as possible to jump in. And this is where it gets really, really good. NVIDIA has managed to boil down the entire quick start process to just 3 steps. You run one script, you connect to the shell, and that's it. You are immediately chatting with your secure AI agent. It is all about getting developers up and experimenting as fast as humanly possible. And here's what that actually looks like. From your command line, you can just ask the agent, write a Python script to sort these files. It gets to work right away, but and this is the absolute key, it can only touch the files inside its secure sandbox. It literally cannot see anything else on your computer. Okay, so we've seen how NemoClaw works, but now let's pull back a bit and talk about the bigger picture. Why are these kinds of guardrails so unbelievably critical for the future of AI? And this right here is probably the most crucial takeaway from all of this. These security measures, these digital guardrails, they aren't about holding AI back or limiting what it can do. It is exactly the opposite. By creating these safe, controlled environments to experiment in, they enable developers to innovate more responsibly and to really push the boundaries of what's possible. And look, this is very much a journey. NVIDIA is being really clear that NemoClaw is still in an early preview. By releasing it as open source, they are literally inviting the entire community to come in, experiment, and give feedback. This isn't a finished, polished product. It's the start of a really important conversation. And all of this brings us to the final critical question. A tool like NemoClaw provides fantastic guardrails for a single AI agent on your machine. But as these systems get more and more powerful, more capable, and more interconnected, are we, as a community, as a society, building the rules fast enough to keep up with the technology we're creating? That right there is the challenge ahead of us all.